Billions of years ago, when the dinosaurs perished and were replaced by Native Americans, volcanic activity created a new island off the coast of what was then Gondwanaland and is now Nova Scotia. At first, the only inhabitants of the island were bats, worms, erythrocytes, and a pink fuzz, not unlike the stuff one scrapes from between one's toes. Soon, however, trees and squirrels appeared, and not long after, the island was discovered by the Micmac Indians, who called it which means place with unnecessary apostrophes. 2 days later, the Micmacs abandoned the island, having discovered that its dominant geographic feature was a boggy, marshy swamp, which they called which means boggy, marshy swamp, which was inhabited by a strange humanoid creature with the head of a fish and the voice of a duck, which they called Lonely Butt, which means that strange dude in boggy, marshy swamp. 200 years later, a party of Spanish priests and hoodlums searching for Columbus, Ohio, landed on the island and purchased it from some lost Micmacs for $24 worth of glass beads. Both the Spanish and the Micmacs then left the island, the Spanish to Florida and the Micmacs to Oak Island to bury their glass beads for safekeeping. The island remained uninhabited for another 200 years, when a trio of nasty criminals, Lord Glands, Lurleen and Ferryville, and Luke Cadaverous, secretly established a research facility on the island to conduct horrifying biological experiments in a bid to take over the world. They were thwarted in this nasty enterprise by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, led by the intrepid Sergeant Dixie Weevil Vanderduke McCaskill, and aided by a green-faced hunchback named Aminadab, a former employee of the criminals who turned state's evidence. A lady named Miss Ambidextra, also called the Lady with the Big Earrings, the owner of a small Halifax publishing house, met Aminadab when he was testifying in the trial of Lord Glands and the other criminals, and agreed to ghostwrite and publish Aminadab's account of his experiences working for the criminals. The book, titled My Life Without Glands, was an international bestseller and made both Aminadab and Miss Ambidextra very wealthy. Aminadab purchased the island from the province of Nova Scotia for $2,400 Canadian dollars. A diligent search for the heirs of the Spanish hoodlums and priests coming up empty. Aminadab now lives on the island along with a number of American and Canadian renegades and expatriates. Led by a former U.S. Air Force major, now an agent for the CIA, the island's inhabitants are planning to declare their independence from Canada and establish the Free State of Aminadabia, until they can think of a better name. However, the Micmacs now claim ownership of the island on the basis of a treaty which they cannot find but are pretty sure is in the attic of Cynthia's ex-mother-in-law's house. Also, disgraced former U.S. President Disaster Hugh Grobe, accompanied by his 2 Swedish bodyguards, has his own, or are they, designs on the island.